Walter Nolan, and there's Luther Burden. I would love it if they drafted him.
I mentioned that yesterday,
with their first-round
video
pick.
made the rounds
Walter
over the weekend,
Nolan.
and that Miller posted it, and it was like, question mark, exclamation point, kind of what?
Did you see the tweet about McMillan today from Todd McShay?
I did not.
Or maybe a comment he made that was tweeted, was quoted. Just very negative on Tet McMillan and how essentially on too many plays, you just quit. Over the middle, nope. Mm-hmm. Lack of competitiveness, wouldn't run in the process here. He already had some reputation for saying, I'm going to get it wrong. And
I know what you're trying to refer to, and I'm trying to scramble.
Didn't like to practice or something?
Or watching film. Something about film, I think it was.
Some work thing he didn't like doing, and he was public about it, but it might have been a long time ago, and maybe not a big deal at all. I've heard people say that and dismiss it. That makes me feel like I shouldn't have even brought it up.
Yeah.
But this thing today is new, and I mean that's a prominent guy who's like he's connected and not a fan.
Right. And that's not like I'm hearing this, right? Because a lot I've mentioned today a few times, like, we're in full on smoke. I mean, there's fires everywhere, and there's smoke drifting into your smoke and my smoke. There's smoke, and a lot of that always feels to me like teams are leaking information to different reporters, and this injury concerns, red flags, this and that, and there's some motivation from teams within all that to just try to scramble the deck, find some way to have it be advantageous for you to have a guy fall to you or whatever it is, right? That McShay thing, that's not that at all. Like I'm watching this guy. I'm a pro. I do this. This is my job, and I'm telling you, there's this. Like that's a very different kind of thing. The result could be the same. Some team could end up feeling great if he's there at 15 or something when everyone thought he was going to be the first receiver off the board. I don't know. Maybe he still will be, but it might not be until 10 o'clock at night.
Maybe. There's more on this just from the last few minutes from Jay Glazer, not specific to McMillan. We can bring up here. Let's talk to Jack first. Hi, Jack.
Maybe you say, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I just had a question about what you guys thought about trading up and taking that Mike Green from Marshall.
I mean, I wouldn't. How high do you think you'd have to go?
In the mocks I saw was like 15, 16, and I think we would have to give up a second and maybe more.
Yeah, that's a
right.
Big price, and I would not want to do that either. But I mean, the player sounds like a fine idea. I just wouldn't want to pay extra for the privilege of drafting him myself.
Would you draft him at 30?
Yes,
I think you might be able to.
I think I would.
Sometimes he's down there, or not in the first round.
James Pierce at 30 is another decent idea, I think, too, if he gets that far.
So this is a character question guy, Pierce?
Is that what it is?
I mean, Trapezo says he's this number one overall player.
Right.
But I saw a mock where he went 41.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what the I've not dug in on, I've not seen it referenced, like what is the potential problem with him.
His favorite food is French vanilla ice cream. I've just found it. It's off the board. Bam. Goodbye. Never, ever. Jay Glazer.
Not taking the bait.
Just going to go unchecked there. Yep. Jay Glazer tweets, interesting thing came up in my draft prep calls. For years, teams have pulled players off their board for injury concerns or character concerns. A third category or reason has been added this year. Most teams I talked to had guys off their board for, quote, doesn't love football. This was the first year it was so prevalent. I asked around why. The thought was NIL. Guys have been paid already. Some feel they don't need to grind to get paid. So the guys who, quote, love football are probably appreciated more. I've never been comfortable with, maybe they haven't had players removed from boards that often over the years, but that's been a thing long before NIL, for years. You've had does he really love football?
Mario Williams is, to me, like the definitive example of a guy who I think just didn't love it. He was a freak show of an athlete and excelled at it, but I never felt like he was just dying for it, and not everybody is. There's probably more guys that are more in the middle of that spectrum than, the far end where they just don't love it at all. But I think he always struck me as a guy that was able to get where he got and just, all right, this is going to be the avenue that's going to make me rich and my family rich. And like, I'm not sneezing at that. Go for it. But, it's a tough guy to get in bed with, I think. And, he had a good career and it was a good bill. But I always felt like there was more there. But, he did well enough. I mean, the Bills gave him $96 million or whatever the hell they did.
And he was a 101
yeah,
in the draft. New mock draft I'd like to mention. I haven't refreshed Twitter here since I've seen it, but it says 10 seconds ago. So this has got to be the freshest
pretty fresh
mock draft in the game from Lindsey Rhodes of Sumer Sports. Let's see. Who were they? Let me get the – I'm going to sort of test you on this one.
Okay.
The names we've talked about the most. I'm trying to see, like, who's been taken. The caller brought up Mike Green. He goes 15, so right where the caller, Jack, thanks, Jack, said he was seeing Mike Green. Maybe that's right. I don't see Trey Amos, and he was not Lindsey's choice for the Bills at 30. Walter Nolan's gone in this mock. Grant is gone, 27 and 24 respectively. So it got interesting. No Hairston, the Kentucky corner. I don't see him hardly ever anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Bills didn't take him. Emin Wari goes 29 to Washington. I've seen that many times.
Oh, what a gut punch that's going to be for me on Thursday night.
Luther Burden is not picked in this mock draft. He's rarely shown in round one anymore. Who do you think it is?
I think it is going to be...
Before you guess, can I give you one more?
Okay.
No Starks either.
Okay. I'm going to say that it is Boston College edge Donovan Izaraku.
Here he goes 32.
I've seen him a couple times.
I've seen him a couple times.
And he's usually in that region of the draft.
Correct.
I feel like.
I mentioned Establish the Run, their mock draft show today. He went 29 to Washington. So they had the chance at him in Lindsey Rhodes' world, but they did not pick him.
Okay, so it's not Starks, it's not Trey Amos, it's not this edge guy I just mentioned, it's not Luther Burden, you said. Matthew Golden's gone, it's not going to be that.
Matthew Golden goes 12, whereas McMillan, 20.
This is all a big size. It's that Ohio State running back you mentioned earlier.
Even better.
Oh, no.
Omarion Hampton.
Oh, Jesus.
Even better. Running back 2. The draft is going. I hope this is right. I think the draft is going along all night, and there's a lot of hype about these running backs. We had Genty at 6, but that's it. Denver goes receiver. Pittsburgh goes Shadur. That's it. And you get to Washington at 29, and who's on the coverage? Just name any person.
Mike Greenberg.
Name anyone else. Charles Davis.
Okay, sure.
Will you give me Charles Davis? Charles, was he?
No, give me anyone else. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
What do you got against Greenberg? He's not an analyst. You're looking for someone who's going to analyze it and not just steer the ship. That's
Thank
what you're
you.
thinking.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
How about Mel Kiper?
Mel Kiper, good one. Mel Kiper says, I mean, all the running back hype, I don't know. Here's Washington. Let's go back to Baltimore at 27. At 27, Omarion Hampton is a faller. We were talking about maybe 3 or more running backs possibly going in round 1. Never was going to be just one. I wonder if Baltimore's the team, Derrick Henry getting older. No, they take Walter Nolan. Okay. Detroit is nobody's running back team because they have 2. So, nope. Somebody going to trade up for a running? Nope. 29 is Washington. And okay, well, talent for Jaden Daniels. Brian Robinson's fine, but this is a step up.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Nope. Emin Wari. And then it's the Bills. And they all sort of look at each other like, well, James Cook wants Did the dollar amount go up today? By the way, James Cook, his brother's tweeting 20 million.
20 million, his brother's tweeting.
Yeah. We didn't even mention that yet.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's some speculation that the Bills will not want to pay him. So could they? And they just sort of all look at each other, and we all look at each other. And Omarion Hampton is sitting. Is he there? I don't even know if he's there, but like he's the guy they're talking about. The defensive tackles went.
I am curled up on a ball.
I know.
I'm not even in the room where the TV is. I can still hear it, but I'm in the hallway between the kitchen and the foyer in a ball on the floor.
That's why I want this. That's enough of a reason for me to want this.
I know.
Could the Bills
care about my mental health?
What does it mean for James Cook? Brandon Beane knows he's picking Hampton, and what he's really thinking about is, all right, what am I going to say after I do this? What am I going to say? Well, I'm going to say best available player, 12 first-round grades. That was accurate. He's one of them. If not for Genty, this guy would have been gone a long time ago. We're very fortunate. We love James because they always say that a billion times.
Yeah.
Bean, Allen, they all they swear to you how much they love. It just gets weird almost how much they love the guy that we're wondering about. We love Jimbo. We feel this player has a chance to really be a difference maker, and we're excited to have him.
I'm going to work very hard right now. I don't know if it's in the show's best interest to not get emotionally overreact to this scenario because I cannot fathom it playing out.
Sumer Sports.
I just cannot.
They know things.
Cannot fathom the Bills drafting a running back at 30. No, I just can't. I mean, they would have to have that James Cook has to be moved in this scenario, I think.
Okay.
And I'm not against that. But I still would not. I'd rather replace him with a guy drafted on Saturday in a deep running back class than spend my most premium asset on someone to replace the other best thing about my offense other than the quarterback. Again, I'm working to not overreact to something that I don't think is going to happen.
Bills trade up to 19, and Cook is in the deal for Hampton, and they pick Hampton at 19. Who's 19? I just closed it. I know 20 and 21. I don't know 19.
No, I don't either. I'm not even going to look. I don't want to dignify this conversation by moving my mouse.
Tampa. That's the team they got Allen from. There's history here.
I cannot be more invested in hating this idea.
They play each other.
I just cannot. I couldn't be. This is
Bulldog.
This is like the Watkins trade.
Oh,
but like on acid. Like I just can't even. No.
Well, it's 30. It's not 4. But.
No, I know, but still. It might as well be. If I get a guy that's as good as James Cook on Saturday, then it's LSD induced. Yes.
Friday's show. Could you ever miss it? Could you ever miss it if they do this? And you cannot get through if they do this.
And I'm getting bludgeoned by people who love it because they're watching North Carolina highlights for the first time in their lives.
I just was going to say, that was the punchline. The first caller is like, will you get off your butt and watch YouTube clips of this player? Because that's right. They just did it for the first time that day.
And you should have seen him tear up Maryland.
You should have seen him tear up Maryland.
What?
This guy, literally tore up Maryland. He was so strong, the field just flew up.
Maryland is turned into Delaware. It's like the coast of Delaware now.
Obviously, Bulldog is old because he knows North Carolina and Maryland do not compete in sports anymore because they're in different conferences, even though they're 5 minutes apart. That's exaggerated. They're not 5 minutes apart, but one is Big Ten and one is ACC.
That's right. That sucks. I thought I really had that. I really wanted that to be accurate.
Come on, everybody. Can't we root for this as a community? Can't we get together on this?
Yeah, Maryland, of course, with all their ties to the Midwest, should be in the Big Ten.
Yes. North Carolina is the SWAC now.
It's like not a place you can stand in Maryland and not see the ocean, and they're in the Big Ten. Okay, great, whatever. Yeah. Sounds great.
They're in the SWAC.
Makes a lot of sense.
They moved. All right. Thank you, Lindsay Rose. You don't even know how big a help you just were. Let's go.